close my eyes, evening dies, my frame rise up to the sunrise. Brand new day, new chance, something to say. If I can make a difference in this world, then I make it. So I must, so I trust. All my lyrics just etched into this new day, like I was busting a nut. Who feels so good? Rising up, I'm on the own. Just got on the radio, it's a positive.
Hello, everyone out there. Welcome back to another edition of Ain't That Right? I'm your host, the Duncan Dad, here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network, SR1029thegame.com. And like I prefaced last week, we are moving into Super Bowl 60, Super Bowl week prep, Super Bowl everything, everywhere you go. Obviously, before we get going down that road, we want to congratulate both the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers, who captured their first collegiate football national championship last evening down there at Hard Rock. A great game by Fletcher for Miami. A great game, obviously, by Mendoza. And I know people are going to be like, oh, game manager didn't, put up huge numbers, but he made the big plays when he had to make big plays. Right? Becker, great catch, bailing him out twice with those back shoulder grabs. They've been doing that all year. The defense comes up with a huge block punt. They're on their way. Cignetti is real. They've got billionaire, philanthropist, business owner Mark Cuban backing them now. It's definitely going to be a change of the collegiate guard you would hope to now include Indiana in those conversations with the Ohio States and the Michigans and the Penn States and the big power players in the Big Ten and obviously across the NCAA as a whole. So congratulations to those guys. Brady was in the building. Maybe they were doing some scouting, him and Davis, looking to see if maybe Mendoza's their guy out there in Las Vegas. But got to tip your cap. Got to keep your tab. It's a good game. Fun time was had by all. And I know there's a lot of individuals who are Hoosier supporters that this was that football moment of vindication. Always sort of being the little brother in the state of Indiana, specifically Notre Dame, specifically to Purdue. But hey, Bloomington, this one's for you. Enjoy it. Go wild. Be responsible. Have fun with it. And just congrats. Hats off to you guys. We start our prep for this week as another big winter storm is approaching. The East Coast. And people are linking this to the blizzard of, like 2000. There was another storm we had in 2016 that was pretty big. I don't know if it's going to get up to that blizzard of 96, sort of fanatical response. But anytime you have any kind of weather that's projected to be over the top, there's always people who go all the way to the extreme. Everybody's making French toast, right? Bread, milk, and eggs. A little cinnamon, vanilla in there too, just to spice it up a little bit. But it's one of those things that we were talking about resolutions. We were talking about being part of some kind of collective, and obviously the Super Bowl kind of trends into this conversation. It gets everybody on the same page. Now, obviously, how people react and what they engage in so much as the preparation and then the follow through, that's where things differ. So we got a snowstorm coming. People in the Northeast, people across the belt are starting like, oh, got to be prepared, got to get some things together. And I was wondering, because we're highlighting Super Bowl this week, before we actually pack up and get on an airplane and, see the old song, if you're going to San Francisco, keep trying to play it everywhere. Remember the one, Time Life Video, if you're old enough, like me, they used to have like a Time Life collection would come on and they would play like, Flower Power, songs of the 60s, songs of the 70s. And, you could call time and you'd go ahead and they'd send you these catalogs, one by one. First you could get them in vinyl. Then they upgraded to cassette tapes. And I think right towards the end, they tried to make the transition into CDs or whatever, but I'm just dating myself. But Every time I hear that song, that's the one that sticks completely, because it's such a folky, flowery, powery, vibey, chill um, kind of moment. Core memory unlocked as a kid. But if we highlight the Super Bowl itself more than just the game, as I alluded to, there are so many notable charities that have presence at the Super Bowl. And why is this? Because the Super Bowl is not just about the game. Um, Specifically, I've come to understand this more and more over the last 4 or 5 years, really being down in the trenches and covering what was going on. Obviously, there's individuals there, there's companies there that want to push and pursue their own business venture, particular products. There's entertainment that is pushed to the forefront. There's TV show releases, there's music releases, there's new artists, there's cinema, there's cooking, there's anything you could possibly think of to package and use it against this backdrop is there. And you start to think to yourself, I thought this was just about a game. Like, it's supposed to be the players lining up and dreams come true. I'm going to Disneyland, going to Disney World. And when the light bulb went off, it's that it's evolved into like the biggest, if not one of the biggest philanthropic stages like in the world and in America, specifically because it's one event that everyone in the United States, Western civs particularly, they are dialed in on. They focus in on it. If you know nothing about any of the other sports that's going on, you probably know who's playing in the Super Bowl, right? Who's singing at halftime. This year it's Bad Bunny. There's a whole bunch of come up in this about that. Green Day's opening up the event. So it's this whole melding and coming together of not only the people, places, things, players, but all of these cultures that represent who we are, who our teams. Teams are different in San Francisco than they are in Philadelphia. Teams are different in South Florida as they are in Seattle. It should reflect that. And on this great, big, humongous stage, you're able to take community organizations, major charities, bring them together on the biggest stage for a full week. And it turns into this week-long, like, civic engine, this machine where, of course, there was always going to be the extremes, but in the middle of it, you're able to really bring some attention and visibility to notable and noble endeavors. Of course, they have the major charities that jump right out, right? There's always the strong salute to service. There's always a theme and a thread of supporting the military and the veteran organizations and those individuals who sort of laid that groundwork. There's military flyovers. They have veteran outreach programs. They have wounded warrior programs, which we'll be covering. We'll be there taking part of. Recognition of specific military heroes in connection to the service that they give post military career. Transition periods. It being able to be present and what it means to have those opportunities given to us where you can stand up for something that isn't right, even if you don't agree with it. If you want to take a knee, whether or not we like that or not, that's what our veterans fought for. Oh my gosh, that's a hard subject. We're a veteran-owned company. Personally, we would never disrespect in our minds those sort of things. But we're here to be the best version of ourselves, to have understanding of ourselves, to have conversations with ourselves. So we will continue to honor those individuals, those community service projects. It highlights youth. It highlights youth wellness, youth hunger, Think about Gen Youth. Think about Taste of the NFL. Think about the Jair Evans program that I was happy to be a part of last year, where underprivileged youth in specific social economic communities where they are challenged, they wake up and have a meal. They go to school and they have food. And it's not just junk thrown down. It's nutrition that builds a better person. The simplest things that we sometimes take for granted. A lot of youth focused nonprofits, education, mentorship, grant programs. There was 65 nonprofits receiving a Super Bowl legacy grant last year to help their mission. There's an environmental leg to this as well. It has a green initiative, plant trees, restoring green spaces, supporting sustainability initiatives. You know, we always hear like reduce, reuse, recycle, but like where does it go? Who's taking care of that? What can you do? What can you be exposed to? What's going to make that little light bulb in your head go off? There is something that will be represented for everyone. And that's what makes the NFL the juggernaut that it is. If you want to have wrestling content because those individuals and entertainers, it's going to be there. If you want to have classical content, art, it's there. The efforts that the NFL goes through in order to push the community equity programs, social justice, community empowerment, equity-focused nonprofits, all of these are recipients of this legacy grant program that the Super Bowl and the NFL have, because they understand that with that great power, Peter Parker, comes great responsibility. And the more that you get behind the curtain, so to say, and you get to stand in the room with the wizard and all the friends and whatnot, you really begin to see that 99.99999% of these individuals who are what we would all consider the movers and the shakers and the bakers and candlestick makers are trying to do good with their network and their communication and their resources and their availability. And it can be a very specific and very directed initiative, which is amazing because you always wonder, like, well, how did we get to know so much about CTE? Where did that actually go from concept and theory into practicum and reality? Where did the research come from? Where did the funding come from? What happens to these guys after, they retire? But it just doesn't apply to the athletes. Sure, that's your group that you're focusing on, but that information, that data, that knowledge, the treatment options, that gets disseminated. But you need to have a place where you can come together and share those ideas, and it happens in these circumstances, in these situations, these settings. Of course, the NFL biggest honor, and I'm glad that they say this, the Walter Payton Man of the Year. There are so many times throughout the year that individuals, specifically the players, are giving back so much to their community, doing so much. We see them, well, did he come up on the injury report? How come he dropped the ball last week? Oh, I saw him shooting a commercial over there. I wonder what's going to be like on Sunday. But during the week, these individuals are given their time, their resources, their availability to use that platform and to highlight the needs that they find most touching to them and valuable to them within their community, whether it be where they're actively playing, where they're from, the city that they're representing. And when you understand that you're only getting the the nominee from each team, but that doesn't mean that everyone else on that roster as well and everyone they're connected to, they're doing something. So we look a lot of times at the bottom number and, oh, these guys are getting paid so much money and what are they doing and blah, 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 and I don't see it. Trust me, these guys are doing a lot behind the scenes. And shout out to all the guys who have gone through this process and have graduated from that playing career platform and taken the initiative to embed themselves in the communities in which they found themselves. I think of Jaworski and Joel's Youth Playbook and how much they've done for parks and recreation and prom dresses and charity golf events that go to scholarships and grants. So even though it's big and you're like, oh, look at that guy, trust me, they are helping through their community. I was fortunate enough last year to go and cover Evan Oglesby event. Shout out to EO Ravens. Coming together and growing the community. If we as a collective are trying to make some sort of change, we've got to come together. We got to sit down. We have to have a conversation and we have to support one another. The big things are always going to be there, and that's awesome. But we need to see what's going on. We need to acknowledge what's happening. We need to be the best version of ourselves by sometimes humbling ourselves, but sometimes getting our hands dirty, but sometimes doing things that don't make us feel super comfortable. That's okay. It doesn't say you have to be your conviction all the time and this is where you want to be. But I liken this, and I'm not trivializing this, right? It's like you hear people sit there and you'll invite them to try something. Oh, try this. Might have a taste of it. Oh, no, I don't need that. I don't like that. You know, the old adage of like, well, how do you know that you try it? Okay, I've tried it. Okay, awesome. Now you actually have an informed, conscious decision. They highlight all the local nonprofits within the city. Education, health, wellness, youth development, social justice, community revitalization. Why? Because the Super Bowl isn't just a spectacle. Of course, it's a spectacle. We know it is. Believe me, been there, done that. You're like, holy cow. I've never seen this much pomp and circumstance and music and fireworks and confetti and you name it, it's there. And it's there in bulk. And it's great because 90%, 95% of everyone that's there, everyone appreciates it. No one takes it for granted. There's always going to be odd lots on both ends. But the greater majority of individuals who are fortunate and privileged to be in these circles and share these moments. And I've always said this to people, and that's where I get kind of upset. People are like, oh, you've been to this party, that party. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, go back to our conversation that we had about 3 months ago. And I said, when people get together, you are celebrating that journey. You're celebrating the camaraderie and the coming together, and you are renewing in shared celebration your mission to be like, I'm glad that we've accomplished this. We're going to have a good time and we've gotten this far, but there's still more work to be done. And when I look across and I see my brother, my sister, I see him, we are going to keep forging forward because it is a noble endeavor. Some might be prettier than the others. Some might be a little more flashy than others. but that coming together as a community to make change and celebrate it on the biggest stage where you can draw more attention to it. Why would you not want to do that? Why would you not want to take advantage of that? Why would you not want to celebrate that? When we go out and we have a birthday party with our friends, or we want to celebrate someone's accomplishment, we don't go hide in someone's basement. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. I had plenty of basement parties growing up in the city. Nothing wrong with that. But you want to make it known. You want to tell the waiter, the waitress, the hostess, the manager, hey, it's so-and-so's birthday. Yeah, it's going to embarrass them a little bit, but bring over that scoop of ice cream and that little lava cake. Why? Because it's a public acknowledgement of, this is my friend. I'm proud of them. And I'm going to celebrate their accomplishments. Because so many times, myself included, you don't celebrate the accomplishments. You walk this fine line of like, I'm not going to be haughty. I'm not going to throw in my people's faces everything that I've done, where I've been, blah, 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 blah. Because then it becomes, oh, my nose is up and I'm better. No, no one is better. No one is better. Completely privileged and honored, and being in those situations where you can elevate individuals, organizations, philanthropists, volunteers who have given all of their time, all of their free time, because they believe in something. That is worth celebrating. And if you're able to take something from that and move forward and keep pursuing the mission with renewed hope and vigor, why would you not want to be there? So it's not just a spectacle. It's a civic moment. It's the biggest civic moment that we have. Bigger than the World Series, bigger than the NBA Finals, bigger than the Stanley Cup Finals. Not as big as FIFA. I'll give you that, world. I'll give you that. But you want to take advantage of this opportunity. So the Super Bowl is not just a big game. Super Bowl week's not just that. It is the American marquee stage event. It blends scale, huge scale. Have you ever seen the footprint of the events that go on, or how big the Super Bowl is? Blow your mind. Blow your mind how saturated it is. Scale, credibility, emotion. The combination of all these things makes it the perfect platform for charity and a brand that wants to grow and sustain itself through purpose. It's the closest thing that we have. We talked about resolutions, right? It's the closest thing as a collective that could be considered a shared moment, right? At some point, everyone's paying attention. You don't watch the game, you watch the commercials. Some people watch the game, they don't watch the commercials. Some people want to tune in for the halftime show. Some people want to tune in because it's an emotional journey, because it represents something that, they themselves are likened to. When you attach something of value and purpose to marquee moments, FIFA Fair Play, Stand Up to Cancer, Major League Baseball World Series, it takes it from this little niche movement, which the majority of things are. Everyone has something that they connect with. But instead of it being in this little particular area, now it feels like everybody's on board. Yeah, I want to stand with cancer. Let's go. Of course I want to stamp out youth hunger. Who wouldn't want to do that? Let's go. It's that pause where the message that you're trying to communicate, it lands with the most maximum clarity and delivery. This is exactly what's going on, what we're doing, where we're at, what we're about. Boom. Let's celebrate it. Let's champion it. Let's have a good time with it. And let's get back at it. Everyone's watching. Families are watching. Corporations are watching. Celebrities are watching. Professionals are watching. Entertainers are watching. I'm watching. You're watching. The dog and cat are watching because we got Puppy Bowl. I'm sure they got Kitty Bowl or something like that. No animals were harmed during the filming of this program. The Super Bowl is built on storytelling, not just sports. It's about human stories, human connection. Think about Mendoza last night. His mother with MS. Not being recruited. 2 stars. We know what Coach Saban said about stars, but it resides and lands and stays with us. You can make a community better. You can have an impact through your service, through your sacrifice, through aligning yourself with those individuals, organizations, charities, entrepreneurs that will propel you to take this resolution, this expectation, this initiative of yours, and bring it to life. Because no one does anything alone. It gives an idea of the resiliency of individuals. It feeds hope. It shows us the bigger picture and how I can be a part of it. Maybe I don't have the resources to contribute to this financially, but maybe I can give my time in service. Maybe I can use my platform, my podcast, my radio station, my medium to spread and share. It amplifies everything because even the casual observer tunes in. The casual observer pays attention. You going to the game tonight? Oh, yeah, I'm going to the game. Oh, that's cool. Who are you going to say? Oh, I'm going to see the Phillies. All right, cool. Hey, what are you doing? I'm going to Super Bowl. What? What'd you say? Oh, I'm going to Super Bowl. Super Bowl? What do you mean? Yeah, I'm going to Super Bowl. It's just a difference. The NFL has taken great strides. And I know we rip on Park Ave a lot of times, but they have institutionalized this idea of philanthropy. And one of the greatest sports agents of all time, and I'd say an acquaintance. I won't call him a friend at this point, but an acquaintance to recognize the other individual. Lee Steinberg. Shout out to Mr. Steinberg. Shout out to Eric. He has always championed this idea of using your position, no matter where it was at, to give back and leave things better than how you found it. This idea of giving has to come along with all of the bells and whistles. If not, where's the merit? Where's the impact? Where's the change? Of course, you can go through the motions, but it gives legitimacy and honesty and authenticity to a mission, to a movement, to an endeavor, as opposed to it just being some kind of crash grab opportunity, some kind of clickbait opportunity. Does it happen? Of course it happens. But we're going to be better than that. It is a uniquely domesticated event. No one else in the world has Super Bowl. But the reason is that it makes it feel like a global stage because everyone's watching. 180 countries, 190 countries, multiple languages. You know how many foreign press agents? There must have been 25, 30 foreign press credentialed individuals at the in Green Bay this year. Had to be. Met the guys from Germany, they're a hoot. Met the guys from Brazil, they're a hoot. The young ladies, just amazing. It is a global game. And with that global game, that global brand, comes the opportunity for you to step on that platform and deliver the charitable message of your choice. Why? Why is it such a riveting, connected movement? Because brands that we all know and love fight for space. They fight for space because they realize that making that connection, aligning themselves with organizations, people, places, things, endeavors, missions, it's valuable. And you can actually begin to affect some sort of change. Celebrities come out. Nonprofits are hosting events all over the place. The media, myself included, cover everything. Why? Because something is going to resonate with an individual who shares that vision. Someone who's been affected by it. Someone who has gone through the trials and the tribulations. Who has had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Yet, there's still more to be done. The powers that be, executives, that 1%, they all gather, they come together. In those moments, that's when you're able to really begin to leverage momentum for change. Why? Because the shared idea of doing something good for your fellow individual, it's the best motivation in the world. It isn't just about you right now, no. It's about a lasting legacy that will just be there. It's a networking ecosystem. It's probably the greatest example of that in the world. Charities, philanthropy, they become this strategic connector between brands, communities, influencers, executives. What can I discover? What will I discover? What will I align myself with? Who shares my same vision? Who shares the same desire and goal? Now we're going to use that vehicle and push. The idea of the charities and the philanthropy aspect is that it takes this idea of like this super exclusive, this is all luxury, and it humanizes what's going on. You couldn't walk into Nike headquarters, knock on the door. I'd like a meeting with Phil Knight and the board and really. But in that moment where doors open, partnerships develop, and you're able to step in to these realms, and they're like, oh, let's see what's out there. Let's see what's out there. Let's see what we can get behind. And then all of a sudden, what happens? You have ball fields popping up all over the country. You have inner city rec centers going up. We see an athlete, he points this out, boom, boom. Now let's go. We're on the same page. Charity, specifically at the Super Bowl and during Super Bowl week, creates growth. Why does it create growth? It creates growth because it creates a collective narrative amongst individuals. We're not just here to be seen. You're getting seen every day. We know what you're about, who you are, what's going on. We're here to serve. We are going to use our platform, my platform, your platform, to do what? To elevate other individuals, to bring that attention, that notice. You begin to connect and align, and you begin to understand that everyone is in this room. Investors, partners, clients, media, talent, entertainers, businesses. And just because we fall on different rungs of the ladder doesn't make us more or less important. We're all part of this mission as a powerful, powerful thing. Just like in your house, just like in your home, just like in your relationships. Everyone has a specific role to do with specific sets of skills. We spend a lot of time pointing out differences and criticizing and wanting and being jealous or being overwhelmed or being spiteful, that we don't see that we're all part of this collective. Why is a Super Bowl the perfect metaphor for impact? It's big, it's aspirational, it's inspirational, it's communal, it's high stakes. Got a lot riding on it, man. Got a lot riding on it. Just like my mission, got a lot riding on it. It's bold. Ever see some of the crazy commercials? It is leadership. It is a communal vehicle. It's charity, but it's not obligation. I want to give of myself and my time and my resources and connect with individuals and people, places, things, and movements that resonate with me. And there's going to be so much. It's going to be like a cafeteria, a collection of all of these things. And because they're all being highlighted, you can go and choose and see which one you align with. And if you don't find something, you can use the platform for yourself. The bottom line is that the Super Bowl is this marquee charity event because it merges community, cultural tension, diversity with the institution of the NFL that is all about its credibility. Now, we're not going to throw any of the refs and stuff under the bus. Storytelling, we have a commitment, we have a connection. We want to be part of something bigger, but I don't know what to be part of. Well, here's a really good opportunity for you to go and experience things, see things, get some direction. Why then are shared moments like championship games, Super Bowl week? Why then are these initiatives, these moments important? And then how does it relate to us and our daily lives and our daily growth? Because we're all about being the best version of ourselves with our priority practices and principles, what we align with, where we chase, where we go after, where we commit. My time is valuable. My resources are very valuable. I will give attention. It's important because the shared moment, the shared initiative, they do something that is super rare, super duper rare, right? We always say like, oh, that's a rare baseball card, that's a rare opportunity, that's blah 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 blah. Some things we overuse a lot. We overuse GOAT a lot. We overuse iconic a lot. Rare, aside from the way that some people prefer their steaks, it's rare because in modern life, to some capacity, these shared initiatives and these shared moments, they begin to synchronize us. And when we all synchronize, when we're all together, when we're all on the same page, it's like a team that can't be beat. It's like a team that's going to come up with new initiatives. It's like a team that's going to make new discoveries. It's like a team that is going to take this powerful moment and directly help form the identity, the growth, and the behaviors of what's now and what comes next. The moment creates this sense of belonging between us. I'm around people who share the same idea as I do. They cherish the same things as I do. We have this in our daily lives. That's why we feel closer after we watch a concert together, after we watch a game together, after we share a moment or something that bonds us. Share a meme, share a GIF. Like, yeah, yep, boom. Don't even have to say it. I gotcha. It resonates in your soul. In daily life, it's this belonging to something where you can grow it and it can grow and it can become as big as possible. And your energy and your resources and your time and your availability, they are met with a genuine reception of gratitude, celebration, commitment. You grow easier when you feel supported. You just do. When you're part of something bigger, you tend to excel quicker. It shares initiative and it creates momentum. Now I'm surrounded by individuals who share this idea. I'm surrounded by individuals who want to see the same result. I didn't know where to give my time and resource before. I didn't know where to pool that. So guess what? Now I'm in a room with 4 or 5 other people who share this idea, everyone with their own understanding. Let's get creative. Let's outthink the room a little bit. Let's think outside the box. We have a common goal. We have a community effort. It's a team project. It's a drive, but it's based and birthed out of a good place. In personal attention to ourselves, why is it good? Because that's how we keep ourselves accountable. I'm part of a bigger collective. I got to make sure it's together. Right? I'm a little more disciplined. I'm a little more ritualistic. I stay in line with particular forms and traditions and where I want to be in this particular vehicle going forward. I'm tapping into a collective motion and movement. They give us meaning. We hit our goal, but we still have more to do. All right, let's go. Let's celebrate this. Okay. Oh, you had a little part. That's great. But why I'm here, why I'm celebrating, why we're at this party, why we're having this dinner tonight, why we're bringing this event out to the public. Let's rally the troops again. Think about the way that you remember your team when it wins a championship, or when you get together on holidays with your family, or you have graduations from college or school, or you have a national or communal moment, right? It galvanizes you and it affirms like, yep, this is right. This is where we're going. This is what's happening. So we see ourselves more clear when we expose ourselves. What do we align with? What's my value? What's my role? Am I actually reflecting back what I'm giving off? right? We talked about that mirror before on communications relationship. This is why people have these swelling up emotional moments when they find themselves inspired, because there's that moment of resolution where you're exactly where you should be, who you should be with, doing what it is that you should be doing. It's a powerful thing. So we take away from this idea of charity and the Super Bowl to strengthen our own personal identity, build resilience to those outside influences that take us away from our mission and our goal and those things that are valuable to us. It continues to create the accountability in us, hold ourselves to priority practices and our disciplines. It strengthens the relationships that we are engaged in, privately, publicly, intimately, personally. It anchors us and holds us down. It keeps our feet to the fire to sustain momentum. As we highlight specific charities, as we are able to bring coverage to these events in the coming weeks, drop comments, drop notes, send emails, find something that resonates with you, find something that you would like to be a part of, even if it's only through words of affirmation or retweeting or reposting. Help your community grow. Help your community be a better place. Help your community be understanding. Help your community and yourself be loving. The world is super small when you think about it, and time goes very, very fast. Even in our own small way, we're called to make an impact. Sometimes we have good days, sometimes we have bad days. Let's try to have a little more good than bad. Thank you for joining me on Ain't That Right? SR1029thegame.com, the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Be sure to tune in remainder of this week, up and down the dial, lots of programs, and we will keep you posted as all of our events start to come into fruition or start to come to fruition. We're into focus. Focus and fruition. It's a good topic. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care, and congrats again to the Indiana Hoosiers. Good night. Good afternoon. Good morning. I did it backwards because I don't want to get copyrighted. See ya.